Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Sean Hewitt from the Trusted Business Community Association, and I'm here in the big interview with Donna Brewer. Donna is a premier partner of ours and works as a business strategist and a business coach and mentor. She's based up in Grantham in Lincolnshire, but covers not just the UK. She can work across online across the world. Donna has been with us as a recent member, and we saw what she could bring to the business world as an absolute accolade of support and guidance to those who need her services. Donna, welcome to the big interview.
Thank you. Well, I don't know what to say after that. I can't follow that short of big accolade.
Well, I hope you can, because we've got a fair few things to cover. But Donna, can you perhaps tell those who are listening in, can you tell us a little bit about the journey of where where you've come from and where you are now? As I say, you've become a premier partner of ours. You've become 2022 as a coach and mentor, 2024 as a business strategist. What was the journey before like? What led you up to this moment?
Well, yeah, I've had quite an interesting, varied life. I am what you call an entrepreneur through and through. So at the age of 18, before entrepreneurs were trendy, I was an entrepreneur. I found self-employed world when I was 18. And from then on, I've never really looked back. I've never had a job. I've never worked for anybody else. I've been totally self-employed, and I've found my own way through the ups and downs throughout the whole of my life. And yeah, I started fairly low key when I was 18. I was a singer, I was a dancer, I was an entertainer. I love drama, I love background. And what I did, I went and worked on the stage, and I didn't have somebody who found the work for me. I didn't have an agent at that time. I found the work myself. And I thought, wow, this is something else. Okay, there's ups and downs, but you get paid more for what you do, and you're not giving half of it away, So I kind of liked the concept, but it was more than that. I liked the freedom that it gave me. I'm not a rebel, but I'm not employable. I like to drive my own ship. And so when I found that model when I was young, it just lit a fire within me. My parents are not entrepreneurial from that business background, but have always supported me. And so that's where it started. And over the years, I took that more and more seriously. I built a company called Joy Events, which was an events company. It combined my love of the stage and theatre with events and running events. And that went into the corporate world. Sadly, when that awful crash happened, I think it was 2008 or something.
Yeah, 2008, yeah.
Yes, I've had my highs and lows, dropped out, and I scaled that company back. I kept going as an entertainer, an events company, and we were quite very well known. Like highly referred and highly recommended. But then I kind of felt it had a ceiling. It didn't go where I wanted to go. So I wanted a new challenge. I'd always been interested in property. And I came across Robert Kiyosaki and his books around, all of those kind of things and business development, how that developed. And I met my partner, Chris, who I'm still with now, and he was in a construction background, so it seemed to fit. My love for rentals and building and property and business seemed to fit with his construction, and we started to self-build. And then, well, that took us on a crazy journey of 10 years of being property developers, building a large multi-seven-figure construction company with all the headaches and the strategy and everything that comes with it. And then I got to, it's funny enough, when COVID hit, okay, it wasn't COVID that made me stop, but it was getting to a point where I was thinking, I really want to do something that's more aligned with me as a person. And when I say that, it's about small business mentorship, self-development, supporting others to grow their business. My business had got to a point where I kind of felt I'd lost myself in it. And I've studied self-development forever, since I was 21. And I've spoken on the stages, and I've done motivational speaking, all of that. So I spoke to Chris and I said, look, I want a complete change of direction. And that's what I did. I bravely did a pivot, Abandoned Chris, not completely, but he decided we would close it all down. So that took a year. In the meantime, I decided to train because my love for coaching and mentorship wanted to be at the forefront of what I wanted to do at this stage of my life.
Yeah.
And so, yes, an interesting journey.
Yeah,
The
very much so.
highs and the lows, but with a passion to support small businesses. You know,
And I suppose
where
along the way, Donna, you've because of the, like you say, the highs and the lows of running your own business and in different arenas as well. The highs and the lows, I suppose, can be replicated in all sorts of business, because obviously it's just, sometimes it's out of your control. So you've got some good times and some in different times. You mentioned 2008 when it was a real hard time for all in business. It wasn't just one particular industry sector. And with that knowledge and the entrepreneurial background that you've as you've grown as an entrepreneur, you're now in a position where you can take forward that knowledge and give it to others.
Yeah, and actually I've studied quite in depth for the last 3 years. I did a 9-month training program with University of Cambridge to really understand how coaching works, the models behind it, how you can put somebody in the center and they can have completely different businesses, and to help them build their business model, which is what I do. It's not my business, it's my client's business. But what I do is I put them at the center and I support them to develop a framework and business model so that they can grow their business that they're passionate about. So I actually class myself as a foundational business coach, a foundational business expert, because that's where I think my real strength and my strategy comes in. Because I've built many businesses and I've built a large business as well. I've worked for myself all my life. There's often business owners that have a great skill set in what they do, but they've never run a business before, or they don't have the strategy and they don't know what that takes. They often think it's just about marketing, but it isn't. You have to go deeper and back to the beginning to look at the foundations, the mission, the vision, the values. Where do you want to be and how are you going to get there? And by doing that, you can then market effectively.
100%.
So this is where my passion and my love lies, and also my knowledge. And that's why I studied business strategy and became a certified business strategist, because I had to do 16 weeks of looking at market forces, values, mission, what's going on in the marketplace. Do you know what I mean? And so I now combine that with all my knowledge, my personal knowledge. And I think that's where that work really makes a difference, because I have seen clients that are really struggling after 3 months get it. Do you know what I mean? They actually get it, and then
the light bulb comes on.
Yeah, absolutely, because they don't realize how important understanding where you want to be 12 months from now is.
Yes.
And kind of mapping that out and not realizing that actually I don't have the structure in place. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of tying all that together, really. I always say that if you've never run a business before, you don't know what you don't know.
That's correct.
So you have two choices. You can cookie cutter, or you can find the help and support you need.
Yeah, 100%.
What's great?
I use a term, Donna. I use the term that if when somebody says they go into business, and you're right in talking about COVID at the time, and that was a big time where a lot of businesses or business professionals were looking at other opportunities because of things like furlough and job losses. And brilliant that these professionals were thinking, outside the box to say, hey, do you know what? We could make something that use this time to make something really special for us. But the amount of people that I spoke to in those early stages of the COVID lockdown, that when I actually spoke to them, they were like, well, I need to do that as well, and this as well. And I didn't think I'd need that. And it was only just by talking to them and then signposting them to others who could help them that I knew I was, because I knowing this, I'm not the answer to everybody's prayer. I'm definitely not. I know a lot about business, but I don't know everything about business. And if you ask me something that I don't know, I'm probably going to be answering to you, I know enough that will get me in trouble if I tell you what I think. Yeah, because I don't know what your answer is. So I'd rather pass you over to somebody who is a specialist in that field rather than me try and give you some advice that I don't really know about. So, one of my favorite sayings is, if you know enough about business to get yourself in trouble, you probably need somebody around you to actually help you through it. So, and that's where the association and you come into it, because obviously you're part of that strategic platform of support that we have for businesses needing that strategic approach to growing their business, as well as obviously coaching and mentoring through the process. So it's really important, and I totally get that there are there's some phenomenal people out there who know their industry, but knowing how to run a business is a completely different animal to what they thought it may be. And
exactly.
that's what you guys.
We all have our zone of geniuses,
Yeah.
I mean, I've started a brand new program for coaches, which is what you can see on my LinkedIn profile. I'm promoting that at the moment. But I work with coaches, freelance professionals, and small businesses. And it's all pretty much the same. If you've never run a business before, you've never run a business before. It's not going to be your zone of genius.
Yeah.
Your zone of genius is what you've come in to do business to do. Whether that's photography, sell cakes, interior design, whatever it is, be a coach. It's still not your zone of genius. And it's about joining the dots. And that's where I come in.
Yeah,
I'm also great at seeing gaps. So let's, for example, you've got a business that's 2 years in and they actually want to introduce a new product, or they're not growing as much as they want to. I go in and do an audit, a 90-minute audit, and immediately we can start to see the gaps together. Then you can come up with a plan to fill those gaps. So sometimes I work with people for 3 to 4 weeks. Sometimes I'm starting to work with people now for 6 to 9 months.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's 12 weeks. It's very tailored what I do, but it's definitely person-centered. So you put the business at the center and you work from there. That is where the coaching comes in. The mentoring comes in with my experience, like you say, helping you think and see outside the box. Because when you're in your business, well, what do I do next? Where do I start? Who do I go to? And that is definitely my passion and my zone of genius, which I love to bring for the forefront. And I think within this community that you've created, we've all got our zone of genius, and it's wonderful, isn't it, to support each other. And
100%.
I'm looking forward to being a premier partner to help those businesses and zone of genius shine. That is really what I'm looking forward to. I've already met some amazing people. It's really exciting.
Yeah, no, and the future is bright, not just because of those that you can meet, but the fact that they can meet you as well, Donna. Because I think you look at them, some amazing Richard Branson. Now, Richard Branson didn't make it to where he is by doing it all by himself.
No,
no one has. We all need quality people around us, and it's absolutely essential to be able to let go of the things that you don't understand and give it to somebody who can help you and drive and thrive your business, as opposed to trying to do something that trying to do the aspects of the business that you're not like you say, the genius in, because your genius is you want to be at the front end, you want to be at the sharp end of your business doing the things that you enjoy, but you still need the team behind you. You still need those who can fill those gaps that make that whole business model complete and in a much stronger position moving forward. And that's where you come in.
Yeah, and I've got a whole host of templates as well, so people can work with me at different levels. I'm very flexible, in terms of price, time, management, all of those things. So now I have a whole library of resources as well, with business plan templates, guided sales funnels, all of those things to help businesses thrive. And I just feel like a bit like a kid in a candy shop, in a sweet shop. When you find your thing, you find your thing. Much as I loved my construction company and seeing those amazing houses go up, I absolutely love what I'm doing more. Like, you know, just supporting people on this level to see them grow, and stepping myself into what I do is just, I was always meant to do this. Always felt like I was meant to be a coach. Everybody who worked with me for the last 20 years in the self-development space said, Donna, you're meant to be a coach, you know, you're a motivational speaker. So it's yeah, it's nice to be doing this kind of work and to be part of this organization. And I just want to say as well, I think we all think social media is the be all and end all. As much as I think social media is amazing, I think it's only just one strategy. It's one small cog in a very big wheel when you're running a business. Relationships are incredibly important, you know, and that's why it's important to be part of something like this organization where you network and grow relationships, like genuine relationships. And we forget that. I think sometimes we just post on social media and think your business is going to grow. It's not really. Proper businesses that are thriving are making the effort to actually team up and form relationships with people. And from there, you will get genuine business growth, and you'll get collaboration partners that will open doors for each other.
Yeah, 100%. And that's the ethos of the association.
Yeah.
Collaboration is the, as they say, collaboration, I've heard it said, is the new currency. And you know, it can open doors that will allow any business and, you know, anyone in collaboration to blossom and really thrive over the years ahead. Thank you so much for the such a lovely and detailed understanding of who you are, your journey, what you've what you now do and how you help. Obviously, you mentioned you're working on a coaching program for coaches to obviously support them in those businesses income. But you also mentioned that you're able and willing to help at all different levels, at all different industry sectors to be up. But as long as obviously they need anything of your services, whether that be one of the, something from a template from you, all the way up to that one hand on hand, holding hand relationship where you can plug those gaps that you mentioned and really help them move forward as a business. All of these people who are listening in today, I'm sure, are going to want to know where they can find you, where they can get hold of you, where do you hang out, so perhaps if you could use the last few moments of this interview just to let people know where they can grab hold of you and how they can get in touch.
Yeah, well, my main platform, I'll be honest, is LinkedIn, but I do post equally on Facebook. So I've started to grow Facebook and starting to get my follow-up there. So you can either message me through Messenger, or you can follow me on LinkedIn, or you can DM me on LinkedIn. And equally on LinkedIn, I've got a link tree as well. There's a link at the top of my profile with all of my links on there, including my calendar link. So that if you want to book a free discovery strategy call with me, that's something that I always do for everybody, is to find out, okay, what's your issues? What's the problem? No obligation. This isn't about selling. This is about getting into each other's worlds and finding out what support you kind of need. And also I get to know about you. So all of these links will be at the top of my LinkedIn profile. And that's how you can get hold of me. Equally, you can just send me a DM and I will get back to you. You'll find me very, very active on LinkedIn. I do have a website, but it is being upgraded as we speak. But I do have a website as well, which gives you a great overview of the kind of work that I'm doing. So that's where you can find me and hang out with me. My email and everything is all on my profile.
Awesome. And you can also find her in the directory of the Trusted Business Community Association, which is as another place where she hangs out with us here at the association. Donna, it's been an absolute privilege and a pleasure to spend some time with you today. Thank you so much for joining us. And not just for today as well, but thank you for becoming a support partner to those in membership for the association, because I believe that what you have to offer is pinnacle to success for business. And I'm sure that there's going to be a huge amount of interaction with those in membership, but also from those in membership who know other people that will need your services too. because that is what our association brings. It brings not just those within the circle, it brings you people who they will then know who need your help and services and support. So it's been a privilege and a pleasure, and I'm so looking forward to seeing your success and our joint success over the years to come, with you being part of that support mechanism to us here at the Trusted Business Community Association. Donna Brewer, thank you so much for joining me today. It's really been a pleasure.
Thank you, Sean. It's been a pleasure.